Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim. Today I want to talk to you about hiker gear for hiker girls. Now, before you click off, because you don't need to hear about girl gear from a guy, or just in case you just clicked on this video in order to leave a snarky comment about mansplaining, let me tell you why I'm doing this video. I have a daughter who has gotten into backpacking, and as I was going on the internet and researching to buy gear for her, I did come across some female-specific gear that I had to learn about in order to know what to get her. Now, I've learned some things along the way, not only about hiker gear for hiker girls, but also for duo backpacking. That is, gear that is specifically made for two people to go backpacking, but who want to stick pretty close together. Gear that is especially good for families, couples, that sort of thing. So I decided to make a two-part video. One, helping people who are buying gear for some hiker girls in their lives, and also for those who may be wanting to take someone with them when they go backpacking. So part one is going to focus on the gear I got for her, and the second is the gear I got for us. So really this video is for any guys out there that are trying to outfit their girls to go backpacking with them, or any girls who are trying to get into it themselves and have just started their research. I have a number of women friends who are hikers and backpackers, from friends to family, including my mom and my wife and more recently my daughter, and I do get gear questions on this channel from both men and women. So although I may not have first-hand experience with some of this gear, I am a pretty obsessive researcher and I live with one of my test subjects. Further, quite a bit of what goes into good gear choices is objective and gender neutral. I hope that my obsessive research will be helpful to you. Now, in a lot of areas of life, the whole idea of female-male specific products is really just a product of marketing. There isn't really that much difference between them other than different size categories and things like that. When it comes to backpacking and hiking, most of the time what we see with female-oriented gear is that it either has to do with body form or bodily function. And when those kinds of differences are actually present, then that different kind of gear can be very important to know about, especially to know what exactly it is that makes certain gear female or male specific, because sometimes it doesn't really matter at all. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at hiking gear that is specifically geared toward women, let you know what it is, if anything, that is actually female-oriented, and then talk about my daughter's experience with that gear, what worked for her and what didn't. All right, let's take a look at my daughter's backpack. This is the Osprey Renn 65 liter, specifically made for women. It may seem kind of weird to say that a backpack is made for a woman. After all, backpacks are pretty much backpacks, aren't they? Well, women's models do often have several features that make them work better for a female body than a man's body. Typical male-modeled backpacks assume a kind of rectangular-shaped body, whereas women's packs assume more of a figure eight. And sometimes these differences make a big difference in how the pack fits. For one thing, women's models often have shorter torso lengths available, which is going to make them fit better. They typically have narrower shoulder widths and more padding in the hip belts, designed to fit the angle of a woman's hips. This means that when the pack is sitting on a woman's body, the hip belt is not going to be cutting into the hips, but rather lay on top of them where it is supposed to. The curve on the shoulder straps is also often different. S versus J curve shoulder strap. It's going to be a bit sharper of a turn than shoulder straps made in men's packs. What an S-strap does is place the strap in the same place that it should on the chest, while also going around a wider chest. So what this means, ironically, is that a man who has a very built-up chest may actually fit better with an S-strap than a J-strap. So it's not really a male-female thing, it's more of a chest width thing. Some manufacturers will add narrower back panels, a narrower taper, and more adjustment options within a smaller size range, as well as sternum strap locations. Another thing you might notice is that because a woman's center of gravity is typically lower than a man's, women-specific design packs will optimize load carrying with a lower, wider bag. And of course, women's packs often come in prettier colors. I got my daughter the Osprey Renn, mostly just based off of recommendations that I saw online. Osprey is pretty good about having a men's and women's version of many of their models, and this is the women's version of the Osprey Rook. This is a 65-liter pack, which I would never load up very heavy for her, but it does help with some of her larger volume gear, even when it doesn't weigh that much. It has an adjustable back panel, which is important because this allows her to grow into the pack. As her torso lengthens, the pack can be adjusted to fit her. It is highly ventilated with an airspeed back panel, a fixed top lid with a zippered pocket, a zippered sleeping bag compartment with a floating divider that you can get rid of in case you don't want to use it, removable pad straps, dual mesh side pockets, zippered hip belt pockets, an internal hydration sleeve, and an integrated removable rain cover. Overall, I really like the Osprey Renn's features. However, my daughter did have a pretty difficult time getting it to fit comfortably. I am personally not a big fan of these ventilated suspensions. It pulls the pack off of your back and increases the felt weight of the pack. So although it felt good in the store, we did not have a very easy time getting it to fit well on her. So to be honest, I'm not sure this is going to be her forever backpack. We'll play around with it a bit more to see if we can get it dialed in, but on the 2 trips we've taken it on so far, it hasn't been a big hit. The Osprey Renn weighs nearly 3.5 pounds, and it comes in at about $190. Okay, now let's talk about clothing. First, I'm going to start off with an entire outfit sent to us by Ridge Merino. They make a ton of really cool stuff that my daughter has loved hiking in. Let's see what makes this so good for women hikers. When my daughter indicated that she was interested in starting to get into backpacking, I wanted to make sure that she had a good set of hiking clothing. And I found that with a company called Ridge Merino, who hooked her up with a fantastic outfit of clothes. Now, Ridge Merino clothing is designed and tested in Mammoth Lakes, California, and as the name implies, their clothing line is all made of merino wool. This is a soft, itchless, premium, ultra-fine merino wool that feels incredibly good against your skin. Its natural temperature regulation helps it to insulate when it's cold outside and let heat escape when it is getting warmer. Merino wool fibers naturally wick moisture away from your skin to avoid that clammy feeling, and it has built-in antimicrobial qualities that keep things from getting stinky. Its fine 18.5 micron fibers don't just feel nice against the skin, they also help decrease friction and therefore blisters. So what Ridge Merino sent my daughter first was a Solstice lightweight wool hoodie. This is your basic sun hoodie. It's got a natural UPF of 30, and it comes with a longer hem in the back for more coverage. This thing is super lightweight, breathable, and comfortable. Its relaxed fit keeps you covered without risk of overheating. One of my daughter's favorite features are the thumb holes to keep sleeves in place. They're especially useful to keep the long sleeve coverage on your hands as much as possible, which also helps with sun exposure. It's got a nice loose-fitting hood that can fit over a hat or a ponytail, or even climbing helmets. The Solstice lightweight hoodie is about 87% merino wool and 13% nylon, comes in at 7.5 ounces. The Solstice sun hoodie is $85. Sticking with the top layer when it gets really warm, my daughter switched to the Jovi Tencel tank top. This is a multi-purpose kind of muscle t-shirt. Great for keeping sweat off of you because it's very breathable, it wicks the sweat off the skin, and there's enough exposure that you're going to have a lot of airflow anyway. As a dad, I appreciated the higher neckline and the longer hem, but I was also happy that my daughter enjoyed the super silky feel. This tank is made of 70% Tencel lyocell and 30% merino wool. Both of these fibers are natural, eco-friendly, and biodegradable. The tank top comes in at $35. For support and coverage underneath these tops, Ridge Merino sent us a Send It seamless merino sports bra. This is designed for medium to high activity for A to D cups. It is made of super soft merino wool. It provides stable support with a racer back design, wide bottom band, and enough compression to make sure everything stays put and doesn't shift around too much during motion. It is a seamless construction, which means no rubbing, no hot spots on the skin, and a lot more stretch. It is sweat wicking and breathable to avoid that clammy, sticky feeling, and it is going to be stink-free with the natural antibacterial merino wool that it's made of. It has a breathable mesh knit on the back, removable pads, and was created with a mix of recycled nylon, merino wool, spandex, and polyester. I know for my daughter, she said it worked very well underneath the hoodie or the tank top, or if it got really hot, she felt comfortable wearing it by itself. The Send It sports bra is $60. Moving down the line, we come to the Eva Bell merino wool high-waisted shorts. These shorts have a very clean design with minimal stitching, functional pockets that basically disappear when they're not being used. The shorts are made with the same fabric and construction as the leggings, but they are an 8-inch inseam, which means that although they are shorts, they will also cover enough of the leg to avoid chafing. The shorts' high-rise cut has an internal draw cord, and between those two, it keeps them neatly in place, and they also work just fine with a backpack hip belt. These shorts are 55% merino wool, 40% polyester, and 5% spandex. The shorts come in at $75. The final piece in my daughter's merino wool collection were the Ridge Boy shorts underwear. These are 84% merino wool, 12% nylon, 4% spandex. They offer good coverage, and because they are not bikini style, they also help with avoiding chafing. According to reports, the underwear fit very nicely and were quite comfortable. They come in at $30. Merino wool is also able to absorb up to 35% of its weight and still feel dry to the touch. This makes it really good for socks as well, which we tried from the company called Creepers. I've talked about them in previous videos, but they make some of the coolest toe socks out there. They're about the same price as the Injinji, but they also plant a tree for every one that you buy. I have personally found them to feel softer and a bit more comfortable because of the way they mix in the materials. So while I'm still a fan of Injinji, I would definitely give Creepers a try if you are a fan of toe socks. So check out Creepers in the link in the description below if you want to have some of the best footwear on your feet. Okay, next I have one of the most innovative hiker gear for hiker girl items, and that is the Gnara hiking pants. Now these have a ton of great hiking features that I will go over, but what makes them truly special is this thing right here. To begin with, the Gnara Go There pants are just really good, solid hiking pants. They come with 5 large pockets, zippered front hip pockets, 2 deep back pockets with envelope flap closures, and a stash pocket at the upper right leg. This one is particularly good for holding a phone. They're made of 4-way stretch fabric with a durable water repellent coating. These pants have a mid-high waist with the waistband falling just below the belly button, so they work well for backpack hip belts. Along with the standard zipper and snaps, they also have an adjustable waist tie so that you can really customize that fit. There are also 3 different styles that you can achieve with the same pair of pants. You can do a straight leg with adjustable hems, as well as calf snaps to allow conversion into a capri style. Their mix of nylon and spandex makes them pill and snag resistant. But as good as all this is for hiking, what really makes the Gnara Go There pants special is that in addition to the regular zipper that allows you to take the pants on and off, there is a second zipper that extends from beneath the first one to the back of the waistband, so that if you squat in them, they actually part ways and allow unrestricted access to the ground without accidentally peeing on the pants. With the Gnara Go There pants, modesty is much easier to achieve, and you don't end up with the kind of exposure that can hurt your skin in the cold or cause you to just not want to go in the first place. I know my daughter loved everything about these pants, and although she was a little reticent to try them out, once she did, she was sold. So when you first tried them, were there any questions, or was there anything that confused you? Or?
Well, at first I did wonder what I was going to do about my underwear, but I didn't know about the trick of pulling it to the side, so I got that figured out. And
then was it okay after that?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Is it nice not having to take the pants off when it's cold at night? And
yeah. Yeah.
The Gnara Go There pants run between $110 and $170. See the links in the description below to check them out. Okay, next we're going to talk about something a little private, something my daughter has zero interest in discussing. Where are you going?
Oh, don't video this. Go away.
You got your Kula Cloth? Got your GoGirl?
Leave me. Stop it. Don't say the word.
I'm a bad dad. But that is a FUD. A female urinary device. Essentially what these do is they allow a woman to go number one without having to take a squat. Now, my daughter actually prefers to just use the Gnara pants and squat rather than using one of these devices. However, there are times where it's not just a matter of convenience to use a FUD. Guys, imagine if every single time you had to go to the bathroom, it meant getting set up the way you do when you do a number two. Besides issues of modesty, there's just issues of exposure. There are times where you might have multiple layers on to keep you warm, and the last thing you want to do is have to remove half of them just to go to the bathroom. And this has actually caused some female hikers great distress to the point where they aren't drinking enough water because they don't want to have to go to the bathroom. That is unacceptable. So these FUDs are not just devices to allow a woman to go to the bathroom like a man. It is something that can seriously help their health. Now, there are a ton of different ones of these. I will tell you that my daughter's experience of the two that she has tried has matched what I have seen doing research. Obviously, I have no personal experience with this at all, but I can tell you what I have discovered on forums, websites, and talking to people. The GoGirl is apparently one of the worst, and overwhelmingly it came back that the pStyle was the best. And since then, a couple different hiker ladies in my life have confirmed the same thing, and so that is what my daughter is using today. The pStyle only weighs half an ounce, and it runs about 12 bucks. Okay, so we've gone over the FUDs, we've gone over the Gnara pants, but we are not done talking about female urination yet. It's time to talk about the Kula Cloth. This is a reusable antimicrobial pee cloth that basically replaces the classic trail bandana. Use the Kula Cloth to pat dry. There is no TP being left behind or having to be carried out. The clean or printed side is a waterproof layer, so you don't need to worry about any liquid soaking through. When you're done, you just snap the Kula Cloth to itself and onto your pack, and it will air dry discreetly without causing any problems. I actually ran into a woman on trail who had a Kula Cloth hanging off of her backpack, and I asked her about it. It turned out that she was actually roommates with its creator in college. So I asked her to say a few words about it. All right, so that's a Kula Cloth. What do you think about it? Tell me about this.
I love it. So it has the absorbent side on the inside. You can fold it in a taco after use just to keep your pack clean and dry, and it air dries, so you can use it several times before you have to wash it, which is great. And it's just convenient and you know, outdoor friendly, leave no trace friendly. So it's great to not have to pack or drip dry, which is uncomfortable for women as much as we all have done it. It's not the best way, and it's, you know, lightweight. You can throw it in the wash. I've seen a lot of people that use it at home even, not even just on the trails. So yeah, it's great. I recommend it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.
The size runs about 6 by 6 inches. It's just barely over half an ounce. Made in the USA for $23. Okay, next on the list is the Nemo Disco sleeping bag. You can tell this is a girl's sleeping bag because of this pink cord and also the color on the inside. Let's have a look at what makes a sleeping bag a women's specific bag. All right, I hope this video on hiker gear for hiker girls has been helpful to you. If it has, why don't you give the video a like, subscribe to Backcountry Pilgrim if you're into hiking, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it, whether it is made for men or women. Until next time, I'm Doug. Thanks for watching.